Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Wisdom Speakers and Seekers podcast, as well as Wise Women Wednesdays on YouTube. My name is Jennifer Regular, and I am a soul-centered empowerment coach at Lighting the Path, and also your host here on the podcast and the YouTube show. And I am so excited to have Kathy Dugan here with me today. She's actually tuning in from a remote town in northern BC, British Columbia, and I'm actually in Victoria, BC. And in search of something that would help her severe pain and sciatic issues and the trigger finger, Kathy Dugan found meridian tapping. After clearing those two painful issues in herself, she decided to get certified in EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques, to be able to help others as well, and has done so for the last decade. Well, with additional training and certification in energy psychology, Kathy has been helping others through health issues, relationship issues, and how to spark your passion in terms of your life purpose. Many have become long-term international clients. Another big part of her life is her spouse of 37 years, 2 grown daughters and 1 son, as well as 2 grandsons. Today, she is here with us to share her journey of pain and recovery and how to maintain good health. Welcome, Kathy. It is so wonderful to have you here with us.
Thank you, Jennifer.
It's great that you're here. And it sounds like you've had quite a process of recovery, quite a journey through pain and sciatica. And how else has that shown up for you in your life?
Well, the pain and with the sciatic and trigger finger was the major ones.
Mm-hmm.
I love to drive, anywhere, it doesn't matter. And it got to the point where I couldn't drive 15 minutes and I would have to get out of my vehicle and walk around. So yeah, that was it was like, this has got to go. And I went to the doctors, and the doctors told me that I would live with that for the rest of my life. And it was just like, I don't understand how that can be. You have to live with that kind of pain for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So they gave me painkillers and stuff, which I never took.
You never took them?
No, I just thought, okay, there's got to be a way around this. So that's why I went on search for something to help me. And I ran into EFT. It's like, okay. It took 6 weeks to clear each issue. But
once 6 weeks?
Yeah. But once it was gone, it never came back.
Really?
Yes.
So it was gone completely. You cleared it with the emotional freedom techniques.
Yes.
Amazing. And what is EFT, or emotional freedom techniques? Can you share a little bit more about that?
It's EFT is meridian tapping.
Meridian tapping.
Tapping on meridian points, on your body. And there's 10, 12 we use. And literally focusing, and quite often you're talking about it. You're voicing how you feel, because it's all to do with emotions. But when you're tapping those meridian points, it helps the emotion to move through your body. Quite often when you end up in pain, it's not something that's going to happen like you get the pain just instantaneously. It's usually worked up to. So your emotions have set that in motion. Even though you think you may have, I've got over that because, I can't do that anymore. It gets set in a meridian point. So it's stuck in there, and the tapping is what releases it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but you have to be focused on it. So
it involves some focus and mind work as well, as allowing the movement of the emotions through the body, and then the tapping just helps to activate that, to move it through the body.
Right. If you're not tapping, it's not going to move through. You need to be tapping. It's not something that moves through on its own. And like I said, it can take some things that I've worked with. It's like 6 months. Not with me, but with other people. And some of the things, my father-in-law had cancer. And literally, he did die of cancer, but for a different reason and a different cancer. And literally, he said that when he was tapping, he was so relaxed. He says, it just let go of everything. And he didn't only tap with me. I worked with him. I go out twice a week to see him, and we tap together, but every single day when he was by himself, he tapped.
Really?
You give him homework and they do the homework, and literally it releases. And he got cleared of the one cancer. And he was okay for 6-8 months, somewhere in there. But something else set it so that he ended up with another cancer and he wouldn't work with me anymore. But he was 84. So
it really eased the suffering and actually alleviated that cancer, that first one.
Yeah.
Went through that. So why wouldn't he continue when the second one came up? Did he just lose hope at that point? It's
hard to say. My take is on it, and I don't know if he agreed with it because he's gone, but my take was he trusted the doctors. And the doctor told him, and which I asked him to tap on, doctor told him that if the cancer didn't kill him, the chemo would. Didn't give him an option to live.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't one of the options. And so when I asked him to tap on it, he got really mad and he says, this has got to end now.
So when you're saying tap on it, were you meaning like the second cancer or what the doctor was saying? Or is EFT a way of testing out the truth?
Well, no, I wouldn't say testing out the truth, but
okay.
EFT is a way of you tuning into the truth, your body. So he chose to accept what the doctor said, that he couldn't, didn't have the option to live. So once you make that choice and then you refuse to tap, there's nothing you can do. The person makes their own choices.
Right.
So not that we didn't see each other again, because we did, but he just refused to tap with me.
Oh.
So I've also worked with another person that had cancer, a woman in the States. She had breast cancer. Not that she didn't have any other treatment, because she did. She had radiation therapy and a few other things, and she got past it. No cancer left. But the doctors told her, I don't know what you're doing. Doctors are saying this to her. I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, everything that we're doing, it's enhancing it. You're healing really fast, like exceptionally fast. So literally we tapped for about 6 months. And she says, I don't know. She says, the doctors keep telling me I'm doing so good. It's just, they've never seen that before.
Wow.
So that's what I mean. If you want to use it that way, to help a process along, that's exactly what it's going to do. It's up to the person to make up their mind on which way they want to go. Right. I don't say don't go see a doctor. Doctors are there for a reason. But like I said, sometimes you got to question what they're saying to you.
Yeah, absolutely. To have that, tap into that power and that wisdom within, and know that, that's the true source of your power and healing that comes from within. And with that permission, you can use a tool like EFT to be able to move what's causing the pain and the suffering or other issues to resolve. And
quite often, like I said, even with my father-in-law or with the lady I worked with the cancer, it's not just tapping on the cancer type thing. It's the stresses that come along with it.
Right.
What a person says to you, or, what you've been told, it create a lot of stress in you. While you tap away that stress, your body has more energy to heal.
I love that idea. Just tap away the stress. Right?
It's true.
Just tap away the stress. Is there something that you can show us in that regard? Like maybe take us through a process of tapping away some stress, or what that might look like initially? I know there's a longer process that you would do with people too, but how would that look? Tapping along the points.
Okay. You want me to sort of give you
a little demo, if you could. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of something that
so if someone was feeling a lot of stress, maybe they're overwhelmed at work and just have so much on their plate and they have all these different projects going on, how would you tap around that? Or if someone was about to start a job and it's going to take up a lot of their time, and they're also trying to get their business going and they're not sure how everything's going to fit together. And sometimes, there's other issues that might come up, like technology, for example. What kind of process would you take people through with that?
So first of all, it's asking questions. Okay. So, and just with what you said, and it pertains to me.
came from.
Anyways, so a question that I might ask, okay, how am I feeling right now with what's going to happen next?
Mm-hmm.
So am I angry? Am I overwhelmed? What's the emotion that comes out of that?
Right.
So,
okay.
and, okay, 3 jobs, like the three I'm going to have to do. Anyways, so I'm going to be overwhelmed. So we're going to start right there and just tap along with me and you'll relax.
All right. Okay.
So, and you should say it, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Okay.
Okay.
Even though I'm overwhelmed.
Even though I'm overwhelmed.
I totally and completely accept myself.
I totally and completely accept myself.
Even though there's going to be so much to do.
Even though there's going to be so much to do.
And I don't know what to do about it.
And I don't know what to do about it.
I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
Even though I have all these things to do.
Even though I have all these things to
do. I accept myself anyway.
I accept myself anyway.
Top of the head. All these things to do.
All these things to do.
Eyebrows. It's just overwhelming me.
It's just overwhelming me.
Side of the eyes. How am I going to get everything done?
How am I going to get everything done?
Under the eyes. It's just so much to do.
It's just so much to do.
Under the nose. I'm overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed.
On the chin. And I'm going to repeat a lot. So much to do.
So much to do.
Collarbone. I don't know what to do next.
I don't know what to do next.
Under the arms. There's just so much to do and I'm overwhelmed.
There's just so much to do and I'm overwhelmed.
Wrists. How can I cope with this?
How can I cope with this?
And I take a breath. And usually you do 1 or 2 rounds like that.
Okay.
And you can repeat the same words. Like it can be, I'm overwhelmed. Doesn't matter. But you're focusing on what's wrong.
Right. Okay.
So usually I do 2 rounds at a time. And then I tune in to the person. Okay. How are you feeling now? And I forgot something in the very beginning. Before you start tapping, usually you will ask for a SUD scale. Subjective units of distress.
Subjective units of distress. Okay.
So when, just say the overwhelm. I'm so overwhelmed. And you think about it in your body, and 0 mean it doesn't affect you. 10 means I can't deal with this,
Yeah, you're really feeling it then.
Right.
Okay.
So you'll ask for a number in there. How does the person feel? Quite often when it comes to overwhelm, it's usually around an 8 or a 9 if you're overwhelmed. So you make sure you jot down that number. Do the couple of rounds. Ask the person again. How's it feeling? How's your body feeling? Does it still feel as high or higher or less? And quite often it's gone down. So you just keep along those lines. Each time you stop, you ask if anything new come up in your mind, if did something come to you while we were tapping?
Yeah.
Idea or, pain, whatever. And that's what you go with the next round. If nothing's changed, if nothing came to them, just do a couple more rounds.
Yeah, because even the change might not have been a thought or inspiration, but it could also be a felt experience, feeling a little lighter or a shoulder drop or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. So that's why I say it's not that difficult, but a lot of people don't know how to tune into that. That's where I come in, I'll see what's bothering them. I ask them the right questions so that they go, okay, you're giving me this information. Okay. And sometimes it's, where do you feel it in your body?
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. Some people feel it in their chest. Some people feel it, oh God, I'm getting a headache from it. So it just depends. And you can go with that even, that I'm so overwhelmed, I feel it in my chest.
Yeah.
Or I'm so overwhelmed, it's giving me a headache. Where the pain is, quite often is where you can go to. Just like the sciatic problem I had. It's instead of, asking myself questions, I just stuck with the pain because I wasn't trained at that point.
Right. Okay.
So just stuck with how much it hurt and, do a couple rounds and, it'd go down a little bit. Oh, okay. So do as much as I could. When I say 6 weeks to get rid of the sciatic problem and the trigger finger, I wasn't working at all then, nothing. I was doing tapping probably 15 times a day, 10 minutes at a time. Literally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's fast to get rid of something. Quite often it takes, like I said, my father-in-law and this other lady I worked with, 6 months. My father-in-law might have been more than that. So
how often would they have been tapping?
They're tapping every day. I don't say 15 times a day, but they were tapping every day, 2 or 3 times a day for 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
But when I worked with them, it would be an hour to an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
So my father-in-law
can really go deep. Yeah.
Oh, yes. My father-in-law was twice a week. The other lady, it was once a week. But always they had to do their homework, keep the tapping going.
Right.
And like I said, it's not, you're going to tap for an hour yourself every day. No, 5-10 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes, all it takes. And it's really not so much work as just creating a new habit, right? Another part of our hygiene, in a way, our daily practices for health and wellness.
Well, and that 10 minutes a day relieves a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Because stress is the biggest culprit.
So imagine it doesn't even have to take like a major problem or issue to arise. It could be a daily practice, just maintenance or keeping things in check, and kind of be a proactive tool as well, so that we don't become so overwhelmed or in so much pain that we can't stand it. Right. That it kind of delays that process. It kind of even prevent that process, maybe even.
Well, and that's exactly what I do. I do tap every day. Sometimes it's only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But quite often, if I have an issue that I have to deal with, something that's, whatever, making me angry or overwhelming me or whatever, then I'll spend maybe half an hour. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be a long process, but a half an hour, that's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you said you went on after that, after you learned the meridian tapping and the EFT and got certified in that, you went on to get certified in energy psychology.
Yes.
So how does that come into play now with your life and your work, and what interested you towards that?
I'm not sure why I went into it. I don't remember because it took me 4 years to do.
Okay.
But just to be able to help people more, it was like, if there's different ways into an issue, because it's basically dealing with the same issues, but if there's different ways into it, then you've got more tools to work with.
Right, right.
So energy psychology is used, you still use tapping in it, you do. Not as major as when you're just using EFT, like you'll be tapping, sometimes you'll be just tapping on one spot.
Okay, yeah.
How do you say? It's tuning into your heart. And basically that is what you do. Like through tapping, you quite often get the person almost like a daydream state. And then you talk to them in that state. And quite often a lot of things will come up that they didn't even know existed. Like issues they had from their childhood that they haven't solved, but are affecting them now.
Yes.
And it's, like I said, you can go a lot deeper that way. It's hard to explain. It really is.
No, it makes sense. And that's how you can get into like with the relationship issues and with being able to focus on life purpose and ignite that passion. Yeah.
Right. It's like I said, it's a different way in, but it really lets out what's really in your heart. Like what either you're holding on to or what you really want. Like it depends on which way you go with it.
Yeah.
And what the person wants.
Yeah, so it's pretty open as well. And then you just guide them individually for what they most need and what's presenting most in that moment too, and in that time. What are you most passionate about, Kathy?
What I do. Seriously.
Yeah.
I love
what about it do you love so much?
When I'm dealing with people and I watch them go through something, like they'll come in on the screen or whichever, in person. And you see them, that you can see the person being distraught or whatever, like really holding on to something that that they shouldn't be. And to see the change in their physical body, their expressions on their face, like everything changes. Usually, once we really get into working on it, usually the second session, you can see the person go backward in age by 10 years.
Wow, even in the second session.
Because the first session is more about getting to know. Like you still work, but it's getting to know their issues and the ins and outs of where you can be with that. But in the second session, you're doing a lot more work, like literally. It's just about tapping the whole thing, sometimes an hour and a half. And the amount of stress you can let go of is tremendous. Like,
wow.
Yes. And that's what makes me so happy, like to see somebody let go of that much.
Yeah. And what does that look like when they let go of it? What do you see?
Like you can watch their face and you can literally see lines disappear, or, their whole body relaxing, like,
oh, wow.
like you said, the shoulders go down. It's like, oh, I'm in a different world now. And I've had one person say that to me. I'm in a different world. It's totally different to me.
You've changed their world, literally. And be able to witness that kind of transformation, and so quickly too. You get to know each other and then do all this work for an hour and a half in the second session, already see those kind of results. That's pretty amazing. That's a profound result.
Oh, it is. I know it is. And with my father-in-law, that's what the first session was all right with him. The second session, and I want to say I probably did work with him for 2 hours that second session. Because we were out visiting too, but we go into a different room, we do what he needed to do. Anyways, he was 83, I think. I swear he lost 10 years in that second session. It was just unreal. And the energy for over 80 years old, even the doctors said that, and he tapped all through this, he had to go in for surgery to have part of his esophagus and his stomach removed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
With cancer. And they weren't going to do the surgery because he's over 80, right? And the one doctor was a bit of a friend of his, lived in the same town before. And he says, but because I know he says, I'm pretty sure that you're in good shape, so I think you'll be all right. And I went and visited him in the hospital after the operation. He was tapping even while I was there, and I wasn't guiding him. And he says, I probably tapped 6-8 times a day at least.
Wow.
They figured he would be in there 6 weeks. He was out in 3.
3 weeks. Cut half time. Cut half of that time.
Yes. 3 weeks. He was out of there. The doctor says, I don't get it. I don't know what you're doing. He said, but obviously you are very healthy.
Yeah. Right.
So that's why he wanted to keep working with me. And we did it. Like I said, we cleared the cancer.
Yeah.
Out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was awesome.
What kind of relationship issues have you seen resolved through this or made better?
Well, with my own is one.
Okay. All right. Full disclosure. Yeah.
Well, we had a rocky relationship. We did. I mean, not that we were ready for divorce or anything like that, but we had a hard time discussing things with each other. And my husband does not tap at all. Well, I shouldn't say that. He does once in a while now. So just me letting go of issues I felt were there, things in the past. And you tap through it and you let go of it. You don't even realize you're letting go of it until you go to talk to the person again. So a lot of the work was done by myself.
Yeah.
But I would notice the difference in the way I could communicate with him. Not that he didn't have issues too. He did. But he tended to work through his a little bit differently. So like I said, you couldn't get a better relationship than ours right now.
Oh, wow.
And we've been together, like I said, 37 years.
37 years, yeah.
And raised 3 kids.
Yes. And now grown children too. That do they come around too? The grandchildren?
Actually, the two don't, because like I said, of COVID.
No.
But,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and our
Yeah, but
youngest,
the relationships changed and the dynamics have changed. And that was from being able to work on yourself and how
Mhm.
you are with
Yes.
everything and in the relationship. And it does change those
Well-
dynamics, because for several years I was doing energy work too, different energy work. And I noticed that when people would come in, they would have their treatments and they would share with me, you know, changes that they've noticed in their homes, you know, with their spouses and children and even at work, and just how different aspects of their life was changing, even though all the people around them were still doing the same things,
Mhm.
but working on themselves just really changed the dynamic of that. So I can really understand what you're
Yes.
saying there.
And
So it sounds like you do some pretty amazing work, Kathy. I'm so glad that you are. Thank you for putting that out into the world. How would people be able to reach you or get in touch with you if they're wanting to connect and experience more of what this meridian tapping and energy psychology can bring for their lives?
to get rid of me, or to get rid of me, get in touch with me. Don't get rid of me.
You need to tap on that.
No. Anyways, to get in touch with me, I an email address would be tappingwithkathy7@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I do have a website, but it's not working properly right now. Otherwise, I'd direct you to that.
Okay. All right. So we can still put the email in the box, in the description box there for everyone. So you can just tap onto that. Pun. But you literally do click into that, tap onto that, tapping with Kathy7@gmail.com. And then you can always ask her too if there's more information on the website, or if you can get on a Zoom call and just share more about what you do, what they can expect, and ask any questions you may have. Obviously, there's a variety of issues that can be resolved, but if you have something specific that you'd like to ask about, then why not?
Yes.
That's why we offer different people with different modalities and different messages for everyone, so that you can find a way that inspires and empowers you to live your life to the fullest. So thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Kathy, for being here and sharing your journey and what got you passionate about the work that you do, and that you continue to do this as well.
Thank you, Jennifer. It was awesome.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody, and we'll see you next time on the Wisdom Speakers and Seekers podcast and Wise Women Wednesdays on YouTube. Bye for now.